Hello, hello, hello. Thank you so much for joining me for the 5 shifts to love your marketing. This is a free training that I offer, and I'm really excited to share it with you. So, what you'll get when you listen to this training is the 5 things that you're doing that will not result in love, the 5 shifts to love your marketing, and why these shifts are so important, and why your mind is going to try to stop you from loving your marketing. And at the end, I'm going to let you know how you can work with me. So, what you're going to save is years of suffering trying to figure out the right way to market your services. And you'll save regret from fully putting yourself out there in front of potential clients. And you'll save energy so that you can redirect your energy as fuel to achieving your business goals. So, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Jenn T Peterson, and I help my clients get really clear and confident and release their fears and their karma around marketing and money. I have 30 years of experience in marketing. I have earned 3 of the highest awards for effectiveness in marketing. And I've overcome my own love-hate relationship with marketing. And for the past 10 years, I've been coaching and healing my clients through their marketing and business journeys. So you're in the right place if you feel uncomfortable sharing your gifts. So you tend to procrastinate around marketing and selling your services. If you feel burned out, drained, or overwhelmed when you're trying to market and sell your services. Or if you ever felt like you've needed 3 days off after putting yourself out there just to recover. If you feel like you're consistently comparing yourself to other people, or you just genuinely hate marketing and it feels like another chore on your to-do list. You're in the right place if you want to lead from your heart when you're sharing your services with the world. You want to feel aligned with your marketing, and you're in the right place if you want to feel calm, grounded, and confident when marketing and selling your services. If you want to attract soulmate clients consistently and have fun while doing it. You know this is for you if you're avoiding opportunities and places to market and sell your services for no clear business reason. If you're staying stuck in a cycle of self-doubt and confusion about how to market and sell your services. And if you are feeling stuck about what to say to potential clients. If you tend to keep your face off social media, even when you have a personal brand. Or if you're afraid you're bothering people when you go to make an offer. You may just be missing one of these shifts that we're going to talk about. So first, I'm going to talk to you about the approaches that will not result in love. And the first thing may surprise you. It's focusing solely on making money. When money is your primary goal, you're putting money over clients. And when you put money first, the clients don't come naturally or easily. You could end up resisting your goal. And if you have a lot of limiting beliefs around money, that may have not been cleaned up yet. If you have fears or karma around money or success that hasn't been released, you maybe keep repeating the same patterns. So the next approach that does not result in love is shifting around your marketing strategies. Strategies take time to prepare. They're well planned out, they're methodical, and they're based in research. Shifting strategies around takes time away from actually marketing your services to clients and takes time away from serving your existing clients. Shifting strategies too quickly doesn't give strategies enough time to gain momentum and for you to get proficient around that strategy. If you have fears or karma around visibility that hasn't been released, you're going to keep repeating these patterns because those patterns are protecting you from visibility. And that's the thing that's causing you to bounce around strategy to strategy. And so just as shifting around the strategies, we also tend to shift around the marketing tactics. That approach will not result in love. Tactics require training unless you plan to hire that part of it out. Tactics are important decisions based on where your potential client spends their time and wants to engage with you. Shifting tactics is kind of like the tail wagging the dog. Trying to become proficient in a new tactic takes time away from serving your existing clients. And when you're shifting too quickly with these tactics, there isn't really enough time for an algorithm to start working in your favor and to gain momentum and for you to get comfortable with the tactic. Your desire to burn it all down and rebuild is safer than fully being seen in your power. If you have fears or karma around power, that has to be released or you'll keep repeating these same patterns. And the next approach that does not result in love is focusing on the judgment of others and allowing that to influence and determine the way you go to market. So this leaves you exhausted from this intense vulnerability hangover. And this tends to happen around social media where there's people that you know outside of your business. You need tons of time to recover. And proving yourself to other people to avoid judgment is born out of fear, not love. And the next shift that doesn't result in love is having an attitude towards marketing as if it's a chore on your to-do list. And what tends to happen is that it drops to the bottom of your to-do list because you don't want to do it. It creates discomfort for the people that are receiving your marketing when you treat it that way. And you begin to resent doing marketing. All right, so now we're going to focus on the 5 shifts that work to love your marketing. And the first shift is shifting your thinking. How many thoughts do you think that you have in one day? Humans have 50,000 to 70,000 thoughts per day. That is a lot of thoughts. And 80% of those thoughts are negative. So they're thoughts like, I don't want my friends and families to see my posts. Or if you say something like, I'm annoyed by people sliding into my DMs to sell me something. Those are all negative thoughts around marketing. But 95% of those thoughts are repeat offenders. We think them constantly. So it's likely that 80% of your thoughts about marketing are negative. And 95% of those thoughts about marketing are repetitive. So one belief that stopped me from marketing my own services, even though I know a lot about marketing and leaning into this zone of genius that I have, which is marketing, is this thought that marketing is icky. And when I think about a well-managed mind will create love. And when you can shift your thinking about marketing, maybe you could think something like, my friends and family are cheering me on, or all marketing can work, or I'm getting good at marketing, or I create space to market my services. When you have that well-managed mind, things go way better. I have a client named Christy, and what she said was that she was feeling despair and that Jenn helped me remember who I was and refocus, allowed me to get crystal clear. She makes you think differently from many different angles and perspectives. She helps you see the roadblocks that are setting yourself up, all while supporting you along the way. In the end, I got everything I wanted and more. And now I love the work I'm doing. The goodness keeps on coming. So I want you to think about, how can you shift your thinking around marketing your services? Go ahead and journal on that topic. And for me, my biggest shift was going from marketing is icky to marketing is an act of love. When I was in my corporate job, when I was in marketing, I actually had experienced some pretty negative experiences. And one of them was working on products that were causing harm to other human beings. And, all of the products that I worked on, if they were food, they were passed through the FDA. So you would think that they were good products and all of that. But what we realized over time is that there were certain products that I would work on that were usually food products that were being consumed. And the FDA, we'd find out that, the products really weren't as good as they said they were. The claims weren't correct, or they would be like pushing it out to other people, for profit, but they were not good for you. So I'll give you two examples. One, I worked on this product called Olean, which was a fat substitute. So it was basically claiming that you could eat potato chips and not get fat. And because there was like an enzyme or something inside of this oil that was going to pass through your body and it would not have your body storing fat. Which, although that claim was true, what they didn't tell you was that there was this very negative side effect that made you very sick. And so I had a habit, because I always like to be someone who walks my talk. So if I'm promoting a product, even when I was in marketing, if I would promote a product, I would use the product. So I decided to taste just one of the chips, and I got the negative side effect after one chip. And I was like, no way. And I asked to be removed from that product because it made me so sick. And so during that time in my career, I didn't have a lot of say in like what I had to say on what agency I worked on, but I didn't have a say on what products within that agency until I was, more senior, and then I could pick. So that was a very, very painful experience, which made me feel like marketing is icky, because when I market this product, somebody gets harmed. And that slipped into my subconscious mind. And I wasn't quite aware of it. I just knew I didn't like marketing, but I couldn't figure out like, well, what was the thing that was sort of steeped in my subconscious mind. And then I had another experience with, with a product that was saying it was doing one thing, but it was not actually helpful. And so when you have those kinds of experiences, it can really take a toll on something. So when I decided to become an entrepreneur, I made a promise to myself that I would only work with people who had um, totally. I would only work with people who had brands that they could be proud of, that were like heart centered and doing good for the world. So the second shift is shifting your emotions. So after 10 years of helping hundreds of women go from fear to love, here's what I know for sure. The only thing keeping you from consistently marketing your services and selling your services is fear. And the one fear that really stopped me was the fear of being seen. When I first opened my business, I put on my website a picture of two horses and a child, because I knew that horses were part of my brand. I wasn't actually working with them at the time, but I just knew I wanted nature and all of that. But what was missing from my business was my own photograph and my name. I called my business True Freedom Life Coaching because I was terrified that someone was going to see me that I did not want to see me. So when it was time for me to be seen, it was literally in my subconscious mind, because I was not aware of this. My subconscious mind was like, being seen equals death. And so that's a huge thing to have to overcome. If you are not aware of how the subconscious mind works, your behavior will start to do things like avoiding marketing or finding something else to do. I was a big laundry folder. It was like, oh, it's time to market. Got some laundry to do. And so that's how my brain would create the distraction for me to not actually do the work. And it was causing a lot of suffering that was really not necessary. And so that one fear of being seen caused 5 different fear-based behaviors that stopped me from marketing my services. And the first one was comparing myself to other coaches and healers, that I did not have value to share. It caused me to avoid marketing. And then it caused me to procrastinate marketing and do things, like I said, loads of laundry where all my laundry was done. I actually joke with my clients now, if I've got a pile of laundry, I know I did a good work week because I was not distracting myself with the laundry. The other thing that it did is it had me waiting for my perfect marketing plan. Like I'd be like, oh, or my perfect post or something like that. So perfectionism really came in hard. And perfectionism is a hard one because, we think, oh, everything has to be right. And it's like perfect marketing is the best marketing. Of course, I wouldn't put something out that wasn't perfect. But what I find is that the imperfect marketing is really powerful as well. But the good thing is that you can actually, love is something that you can choose. And fear is something that you can sometimes be choosing as well. Clearing it out is definitely a choice. And so you can market your services while being grounded in your mission, your vision, and your values. And all of those things are born from love. And then love can choose you because it's a vibrational match. When you're loving on marketing, marketing will love back to you because your thoughts create real love. When you have a thought, it creates a feeling. And if your thought creates the feeling of love, you will feel love sensations in your body. And then the energy coming off your body is love. And real love feels pure and authentic. And when you choose love, you're going to get love notes back from your clients. I have clients sending me things that, say things like, if I put a post out on social media or if I put an email out, I'll get a note back saying, what a great email, nicely done. Or, my heart blasted open. Or, this hits on so many levels in such a joyful, fun, expansive way. So clients will be sending you those things and you'll know that's sort of like the evidence that you're feeling love when you're marketing. And potential clients even love on your work. And I had a potential client named Rona McCormick, and she wrote to me and said, I love the way that you're always gently encouraging us and asking the right questions to give us the space to find our own answers. No guru energy telling us what we should be doing. And this is true for you. When you are loving on your marketing, you'll get these kinds of experiences as well. And you'll have clients loving on what you do too. I have a client named Kate Simpson who was in Manifest Clients Who Love to Pay You, which is my group coaching program. And here's what she had to say. She said, Jenn helped me release the fears of marketing and visibility. She seamlessly blends powerful coaching with energy healing. Jenn helped me clear fear, confusion, money blocks, and blocks around manifesting clients and receiving. Since joining Manifest Clients Who Love to Pay You, my revenue is up 119%. I align with the clients that I'm calling in. I have a business plan I genuinely love, and I'm having fun again. The best part, aligned clients are showing up, including 3 new clients in just the last week. So you might be wondering how all of this works. And I've learned so much from working in the presence of horses with my clients, both in person and virtually. And what I know about horses is that they give a biofeedback from however you're showing up. And so horses will be able to sense your inside intention. So what's going on in your subconscious mind, they know when it's not matching your outside expression. And they don't want to be anywhere near that. We call that incongruence. And you can sense this in other people. And other people can sense this in you. And so potential clients can sense this incongruence in your marketing. But also the opposite is true. Horses can also sense when your inside intention matches your outside expression. So what's in your heart is coming out on the pages of your marketing. And they want to be near that. And that's called congruence. And you can sense this in other people, and other people can sense that in you. And why is marketing congruence so important? It's because marketing congruence creates trust and safety for your clients to engage with you and to buy your services. Because congruence is authentic. And why is falling in love with your marketing so important? It's because real love is congruence. And horses can sense when you are in real love, and they show you the way to an aligned marketing plan, to align clients. Like they really understand the energetics of everything. And so I'm going to talk about now the third shift, which is shifting your expectation. So you don't put a post out and immediately see a return on your post. And when you put that transactional energy into your marketing, people can sense that. You actually fall in love with your marketing when you're giving without expectations. And then you'll be writing love notes and posting love videos to your potential clients. And you'll see it come back to you in ways that you couldn't have even predicted. Because what I understand is that impatience is a block to love. When you have unlimited patience, love flows, which brings back faster results. And love means, how can I be of service to you? So when you shift your expectations, I want you to think about if your future self, who has already got everything she desires, if she could speak to you now, what would she say? So when you have expectations, you want to really focus on where is this potential client in their journey. They may be in what I would call problem unaware. So this is a person that is not even aware that they have a problem, let alone knowing anything about potential solutions. And so they are the largest segment of the population, and they're also the most challenging to market to. They need a lot of education about their problem, and they need a lot of education about how you can help them and that you are the solution to the problem that they have. And so the next phase of someone's customer journey is that they become problem aware. So a person that has been awakened to the fact that they've got a problem, this is only the beginning of their journey. They're actively looking for a solution. So I'm going to give you a pretty clear example of what I mean by this. So someone who is problem unaware might be someone who hasn't gone to the doctor and got a blood test, but then they become problem aware when their blood test comes back, and let's just say their blood sugar is too high. Then all of a sudden they start thinking, oh, you know what? I need to solve that problem. And once they solve that problem, then they're going, or once they know they have a problem that needs to be solved, they'll start looking for solutions. So that's the next stage of a customer's journey, is solution aware. So a prospect that is looking for a way to sort out whatever they're exploring potential ways to solve the problem, or they create the desire for the problem. They don't know about your services yet, but they're easier to market to because they already know that they're aware that there's products and services that are potential solutions. So for reducing blood sugar, there's lots of different things that you could do. But one of them could be health coaching, as an example. And so once someone in that journey goes to product aware, that means that now it's time for you to show them why your product and service are the one that they should be paying attention to. And so that's a really important stage when it comes to who to be marketing to. Because a lot of times we think we need to be in that first stage of problem unaware, but really that gets into convincing energy. And that convincing energy is not love. The next stage is in the customer journey is the brand aware. So they know who you are, they follow your work, they know that your product is perfect for them, but they just need that final nudge. So you've got to show them the value of working with you during that stage. And then the final is, they've hired you and they've experienced your work and they become a raving fan. So someone who's actually experienced everything, in some way, and then they love their experience. And those are what we would call raving fans. And then once they're a raving fan, they can refer you because they've had such an incredible experience with you. They feel compelled to share your work with other people. And so that is where you want to figure out how to shift your own expectation for who you want to be working with. And so the fourth shift is shifting your identity. So this one is probably one of the most important shifts because your marketing is an opportunity for you to step into who you're becoming as a human and as a brand. And as a service-based professional, you have a personal brand. If your name is on your business, it's a personal brand. If you are the one delivering your services, even if like me, it's, True Freedom Life Coaching, even if that, it's still a personal brand. And as a personal brand, you are your brand. And as a human, you are likely an old soul that has come to this lifetime with some karma, some patterns that can shift and clear. And often it's very simple to clear these things. But what will happen is as you clear them, they compound over time. And you're looking at your next level of identity. So it's when I think about identity, I don't think it's like you have to become this new person. I think it's about really just clearing out what's getting in the way of you being who you were born to be. Like you're already the person. It's just sometimes there's some fears, some karmic patterns that are causing you to not behave like the person that you really truly are in your heart. And so when you fall in love with your marketing, that's when you fall in love with you because you're falling in love with the identity that you are remembering. And so I have a client, Stephanie Decker, who said this about this part of the journey that we took together. And that is, she said, my identity as an entrepreneur has shifted from someone who is timid to show who I really am through my business and always trying to fit into a mold that wasn't mine in embracing who I am through my business. Allowing my business to highlight who I am from the core has led me not only to loving my actual business, but my entire lifestyle. The changes that I've made since working with Jenn have been so pivotal to my life path, words can't even begin to explain. But I want you to ask yourself, how does your business reflect your soul's purpose? And where does it feel misaligned? And who do you desire to be in this world? So as you open a business, there are several identities that you move through. And this is why I believe that opening a business is the biggest spiritual and personal development that you could go through. And it's because most of us come to businesses as we were employees at some point. And you've got to make the identity shift from employee to self-employed. And once you become self-employed and you've sort of adapted that identity, which comes along with a lot of responsibility that you didn't have before when you were an employee. And once you make that shift, you have to shift into practitioner, which is learning your craft. And once you've made that shift to practitioner, The next is that you are accepting your first paid client. And when you make that shift, the next one is becoming a professional brand. And once you make that shift, it's the being seen as the expert and serving many clients, not just one client. And then it's shifting into being fully booked out, being that service-based professional. And once you do that, it's building the wait list. It's the next identity shift. And sometimes you might be going, like my client Stephanie, going from a brick and mortar store to an online store. That's a whole different identity, is someone who's owning something that, isn't a physical store. And then when you go, sometimes there are people that are going from online to going to an in-person experience, like because that's another kind of identity shift. So there's a lot of different levels, and only you will know like where you are in that particular identity shift and how many of these things would be useful for your business for you to start to embody. And so now we're going to talk about the fifth shift, which is the final shift. And that is shifting your belief in your clients. This is a big one. So when you shift from, a lot of times people talk about ideal client avatars, and they talk about like, this fictitious person that they're going to help. And I really don't like that. So when I first heard it, it rubbed me the wrong way. And the reason is because I believe in authentic, ideal clients, someone that you've actually worked with before, like really thinking about them, because your brain knows the difference when you're talking about a made up avatar and when you're thinking about a real live human. So I always encourage my clients to be thinking about the real live human that they can help. And when we think about when we're emotionally attaching, we emotionally attach to humans. We don't emotionally attach to avatars. They're made up. We don't have any commitment to them. And so when you fall in love with your marketing, you're falling in love with your potential clients. And so when I think about, this identity shift that you're doing, one of the things that I want to talk about is my client Ursina Denando, who came in to manifest clients who love to pay you. And she said, working with Jenn is hands down been one of the best decisions of my life. She helped me shift from being a new entrepreneur who didn't really trust herself to a confident businesswoman who knows her worth and acts like it. Since I started working with her, I've stepped into a whole new timeline and I've been attracting more ideal clients than ever. It all started with a karma clearing session that she did with me. And oh boy, it was powerful. A life worth of imposter syndrome gone in just one session. After that, I just knew I wanted more. So I joined her program, Manifest Clients Who Love to Pay You, in which she has completely shifted the way I think about marketing, manifesting, goal setting, and what I believe is possible for me as an entrepreneur. I can safely say I wouldn't be where I am today without Jenn's help. I truly feel like I've won the lottery to have found her. If you want to take your business to the next level in a way that feels aligned to you, Jenn is your woman. Highly recommend. And so why does my process work? It's because real love is attractive as fuck. Shifting from fear to love is what makes the difference between feeling reactive to your marketing and feeling calm and grounded in your marketing. It's the difference between feeling insecure and hiding who you are to having the confidence and a strong identity to put your work out there. It's the difference between no new clients engaging or buying to building trust and safety for potential clients to buy from you and to become raving fans. It's the difference between staying in confusion and loving all of your decisions. It's the difference between trying to find avatars and connecting with real live humans. And it's the difference between not achieving your business goals and achieving your business goals. And the experience you're going to have with this process when you shift into loving your marketing is that you will feel calm when you're marketing. You won't lose sleep over it anymore. You will feel heart-centered in your marketing. You will take up more space wherever you decide to market yourself. You'll feel confident in bringing your ideas into the world, and you'll feel grounded, and you'll be marketing with purpose. You'll trust yourself and your marketing decisions, and you will become a master of service to your clients. And all you need to get started is a willingness to become aware of your thoughts and emotions, a commitment to embodying this process, and a desire to raise your standards for how you experience your marketing. An open-mindedness to things other than your logical mind, because results won't be logical. You'll create a simple business plan, an aligned marketing plan. You will market with congruence, and you will build trust with yourself and your potential clients and create safety for them to engage with you and buy from you. So if you knew that 10 soulmate clients who are ready to hire you were on your marketing platform, how would you show up to your marketing platform? I really encourage you to do something today that your future self will thank you for. So that concludes the training part of this experience. And I want to talk to you about what's next. For those of you who would like to know about how to work with me, I work with people both in private experiences and in group experiences. So if you are thinking you're not sure which one of those would be right for you, or you're thinking private would be right for you, you could definitely book a consultation call with me, and I will drop the link for you so that you can do that. It's a completely free experience to come and talk to me about your specific situation, your goals, and to see if we are a good fit to work together, either a private or a group experience. But if you already know that a group experience is the way you love to receive, I highly would recommend coming into Manifest Clients Who Love to Pay You. That is my group program. It's a completely virtual program that has all kinds of fun inside. I've been running this program since 2022, so it's been a while. I've done it many, many times, and it's been pretty incredible to watch it go from when I first started it, it was an in-person with horses experience, and now it is a completely online experience. But we do have virtual coaching with the horses, which is a lot of fun. So I want to just ask you, what if you were part of the ripple effect? And so what I love is bringing together a collection of shared wisdom. So either from the current cohort of women that are going through this, or even from the previous calls, the oracle readings, the Equus coaching. There's so many nuggets that happen inside these containers. And so, a question that's asked by one woman can often become the answer that another woman has been searching for. We see that time and time again as we go through, as I take women through this program. Every call creates a ripple effect. And the other thing I want you to consider is, what if marketing was like a spiritual practice? And that's really what I think makes the difference between what another marketing program might be. This one is, we do have 8 marketing mentor calls, but those marketing mentor calls are sort of guided by spirit through oracle readings. And those are really, really powerful. And we have 8 of those calls that we do throughout the 16-week program. We have 4 shamanic healings and activations that are live. So that would be a karma clearing in a group experience. It would be a shamanic ritual, like a fire ceremony, a water whispering ceremony, so a shamanic journey. So all of that is really helping to clear out what's getting in the way of you showing up as your fully authentic self. And we have 4 virtual Equus coaching sessions, which are really beautiful. The horses always, which has really, really been very fun to experience, is that the horses have so much to teach us. And what I find is interesting is, if I coach one person and there's a group of women, when we're all done with the coaching, even if only, a few of the women were coached during that session, every single woman will raise their hand that they got something out of that, that the horses taught them something, even if it wasn't the same horse that was teaching. If there's a herd of horses, there might be another woman connecting with a different horse. So I think it's really powerful to understand. And that's why I only recommend you come and work with me if you are someone who's very spiritually open, who is open to energetics. That is really who this is for. Because if you have a lot of skepticism and you're like, no, I don't believe in any of this, it's not for you. It will be very hard. And I usually don't attract people like that into my work because I'm pretty authentic and clear about who I am and how I support people. The other thing I want to say is that there's also, because it's also an online course, it's a live program, and that I'm coaching you through the 16 weeks, but there's also support on the days that we're not together. So if you don't have to do this, but if it's something that you feel would be supportive, there are 8 modules that really teach you how to clear out what's getting in the way, how to fearlessly set your goals, how to release your fear, how to fall in love with your marketing even deeper than what we did today, and gives you my method of manifestation. Sometimes people go through that. They know how to manifest. They've been doing it for a while, but it's not quite working. And when they go through my process, they can see where their process might be missing something. And they just adopt their own process and they just make a few tweaks and it starts working again. So that's really fun to be able to share that with everyone. And then also a module on branding and that you are your product and really what that means. And I am not someone who brands with fonts and colors and things like that. That is so not the kind of work that I do. I am really helping you be you as bravely as possible. That is my goal, my mission for everyone is to be more authentic in their marketing, be more authentic in how they deliver. That's the most important thing. So yes, I'm an expert in marketing, and yes, I could tell you how to market, but I don't think that's as valuable as me helping you get in touch with how it's the best for you. Like, what's the best aligned way for you to be marketing your services. And so the other thing that we do is we talk about it's not about time, it's about alignment. And I mentioned this earlier in this training that impatience can be a flow blocker. It's like the thing that naturally happens to us, but it's actually the thing that will stop you in your business. And so it's not about time, it's about alignment is a really beautiful module. And it's the one that I find to be the one that is missing in most other containers, that people don't really understand that alignment is the thing that helps you create the clients. That's why I always call everything soul aligned offer activation, soul aligned sales activation, all those things. I really think that's really important. And then the final module is getting right with money, because when you get right with money, you are going to be able to be receiving. And that's a big block for many people, is that either they're sometimes people aren't receiving at all. That's not necessarily, sometimes, they're in survival mode and they need some help to get out of that. But what I find most often is that, everything was going well and then, oh my gosh, everything stopped. And so when that happens, we really have to get right with our relationship with money. So either way, I've had clients come from each of those perspectives. Like they haven't, sold one client yet, and they have a huge shift, or things weren't going, they were going great, and then they weren't going so great, and then we help them really get a better relationship with money. I say getting right with money, because when you do that, you're opening your receiving channels. It's no longer transactional. It's no longer, I marketed and you must come to me. It becomes a whole other fun experience. And so when you sign up, each person that's in this group, even though it's a group coaching program, I take one session privately for each person, so that they get a private experience with me, so I can really get to know you, because I really enjoy knowing you in a deeper level as I'm going through. I know sometimes you can get lost in a group coaching program. That is not that is not me. No woman left behind. And so the other thing I just want to take mention is that we are working with rescue horses at Rising Star Horse Rescue. That is the place that I work, place that I love. And so every woman that works with me that invests in either private or manifest clients who love to pay you, my group container, a portion of those fees are going right directly back to helping save America's horses. So that is something I just wanted to mention. And so I'm going to drop the links to manifest clients who love to pay you and also to a consultation call if you think that that would serve you better to have a conversation before you decide which way you'd like to work with me. So also, if you have any questions, you can definitely ask them. You feel free to email me or drop them, into my Facebook Messenger. I'm happy to answer anything that you have. And so that is what I have for today. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being with me. And I really appreciate all of you. And thank you for trusting this process. And I look forward to seeing all of the beautiful posts that come from you, the beautiful marketing that comes from loving your marketing.